Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Hey, look who's here with me. No, he's not on that side. He's on that side. Look who's here
Going
with me. I
on?
can't get it right. Uh, welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. It's the post-game show. Montreal beat Buffalo 3-1. And I'm going to show you, I've got game stats. I've got the 3 stars. I got all the goal scorers. I'm going to show you that Montreal was the better team tonight. Not just that they won, but overall, all the stats except shots on goal. Montreal was the better team tonight, which is really nice to see. I mean, it's a game between two not great teams, but Montreal off to a 3-1-1 start. That's a good start for Montreal. So, and Buffalo is right now is disappointing. I'm sure their fans are not happy. You could tell with all the empty seats that were in the arena there in Buffalo. A lot of empty seats.
I mean, it's perplexing, right? Because coming into the season, right, Buffalo was one of the teams that were kind of picked to really make a leap. But, I mean, so far...
13 years missing the playoffs. They're looking at this and going, oh, okay, we're going to wait till they start winning. And that's true in Buffalo. Yeah. They don't go unless they're winning.
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
So I think that's what it is, right? They're not having a good start to the season. I would think, when they do start picking up their game, that, attendance over there will pick up.
Yeah, I think so. But I think for a team like Buffalo, that was kind of picked to make a jump with
I picked them
with,
too.
with the prospect talent that they were bringing up. Got Owen Power, Devin Levi. And nothing's clicking. I mean, Devin Levi can't stop a beach ball at the moment. I know. I think
he's injured.
Started tonight.
Yeah, Levi's injured.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but I know Devin Levi didn't have a good couple games, and even tonight, watching Owen Power and Dahlin, especially on the power play, something's not. I don't know if it's a lack of communication or what, but something's not clicking between those two.
Yeah, something doesn't seem
that well. Something's not clicking.
Yeah, I have to admit, I think I made some comments on that in the game, but yeah, I agree. But it's their 6th game. It's getting to the point though where you got to stop saying, well, it's early, because if they fall too far into a hole, they're not going to get out of it. There's a lot of teams to leapfrog for them. They got to start playing well. So yeah, I don't know what's up with them. It's kind of though, I'm thinking maybe the opposite. The last bunch of years, Buffalo starts out hot and then it slowly goes off, right? Maybe this year they're starting out slow and will rise up. I'm kind of thinking maybe that's what is a difference.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I do still think that even with, I know Levi did get hurt, but even still, when he played, he didn't look comfortable. And Mike Comrie's really not that good of a goalie either. And again, I don't know what the issue is between Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin, but those are your 2 best defensemen. If they can't figure it out, you're in a world of trouble. Because
their power play sucks.
That top line of Tate, I don't know, is it Tate?
Tate Thompson, he's got 1 goal in 6 games.
Is it Thompson, Tuck, and then Skinner on the first line? Cousins.
Yeah.
Those guys can only take you so far, and Skinner did score tonight, which you predicted because he always scores against us.
He always scores against Montreal.
That was just a great shot. But again, that's all well and good. But if you can't figure it out, if your top 2 defensemen can't figure it out in their own end or on the power play, if they're not clicking, and you know that you have a goalie situation where it's not really a good recipe for success for a team like Buffalo, who's really should be turning the corner.
Yeah, no, it's surprising too. I would have thought Buffalo would look better, but there's still time for them to turn it around. But they're running out of it. You figure by game 10, if they haven't turned this around, they're digging themselves a big hole. Definitely they're not going to reach what I thought. I predicted them 2nd in the division. That's not going to happen with this team. That's for sure.
That might end up being Detroit. I mean, what a start the Red Wings are having. That Larkin and DeBrincat connection is it.
Yeah, I kind of think I should have
like the Caulfield Suzuki connection here.
Yeah, I should have switched those 2 teams. I had Detroit finishing 7th and Buffalo finishing 2nd, and I think I should have flipped those guys around because I think it's more likely Detroit finishes up there than Buffalo right now. But like I said, 6 games in, it's still early enough for them to turn it around. But you look at the team the way they played tonight, and you go like, I don't see them doing that. I don't follow them enough, but I don't see them doing that.
I think the biggest thing is they got to figure out a way to get Deline and Owen Power on the same wavelength or something. Because first of all, if they can't do that, that power play is not ever going to be good.
No,
and then second of all, no, they're not going to help the goaltender out. And again, their goalies,
Yeah, I get that. Let's see who's here because we haven't done that yet. Hey, Guru, welcome back in. This is not a bad game. Good to see them beat Buffalo. Usually Buffalo is one of the annoying teams for the Habs. It's very true. Buffalo can really sometimes, even when they're shit, they still beat us. Conservative lawyer, how's it going? Sabres to Hamilton, maybe? No, I doubt that. It was nice to see the Habs fans outnumber the Sabres fans. Well, like I said, Sabres aren't doing well. Their fans won't show up too much. So, hey, Eric, great goaltending and effort by the whole team. Definitely great goaltending. Allen he kept them in there long enough. Very good game from Jake Allen. Yeah, he kept them in there long enough to find the breaks to win. And the same thing with the last game. He kept them in there. Yeah, some breakdowns in defense allowed Washington to tie, but then he got them to the overtime and they won there. So, and Savard, blocking shots on one leg, on one skate because it was his skate blade.
I do think
what?
No, I was just kind of piggyback on your point about Allen keeping them in the game. I do also think in this game, especially in the third, I did think they did a better job at really closing the game out. I thought they did a better job of getting in the shooting lanes, getting in the passing lanes. Really didn't let the Sabres set up. I thought they finally did a really good job of doing that, not letting a team. I think
that's the difference here tonight is that as opposed to Washington, they let Washington back in the game. They didn't let Buffalo back in the game. They were able to. So it's a young team. So 1 out of 2, they got it right. Hopefully they'll get that right more often than not now as they go along. But that's something. It's an important lesson they have to learn. Is you got to learn how to close out the games and have that killer attitude to do that. So something they got to learn. Eric says, not how you start, it's how you finish. Still way too early. But the bigger hole, it's a tough division. Atlantic is probably the best division in the league this year. And they're going to have a hard time to climb out of the hole that they're digging themselves into. So they got to turn it around soon or it's going to be too late. Joe, we got going to the box. We lead the league, not good, but it was a little better this year. This game, they only had 5 penalties. It's a little bit better. Hey, Joe, welcome back. Good to see you. That was the third period was much better.
It was one of the best periods I've seen them play this season.
Yeah, third period was good. Second period was okay. First period sucked. New Jersey will be a big test tomorrow. On a back-to-back situation when Jersey didn't play back-to-back games, it's going to be tough tomorrow. The only thing that helps them is they're at home, maybe, but it's going to be a tough game. I don't see back-to-back wins for Montreal there. Okay, we're going to go and take a look at the stats from the game. So as you can see here, the only stat that they were better at us at was shots on goal. They outshot us by 10 shots, 37-27, which is fine. And then they've adjusted those faceoff numbers, Matt. Those are different. There was 49.1 to Montreal's 50.9 when I first loaded this up. Now it's 47.3% for Buffalo at the dot, 52.7% for Montreal at the dot. So we, I don't think there's a game this season of the 5. I think Montreal's won the faceoff numbers every game, which they're leading the league in faceoffs. So power plays. Sorry.
It's great to see. And Monahan and Evans, I think we're both over 63% again.
Yeah, 63.6 for Evans, 70% for Monahan tonight at the dot. So, and then Suzuki and Newhook, not good. 30 and 25.
Caulfield, 100% though.
Caulfield, 100% at the dot. One face-off, but he won it. that's what counts. Power plays. Buffalo 1 for 5 on the power play. Montreal 1 for 3. 1 for 3 is a better number than 1 for 5. So we beat them there.
You can score on the power play?
Hits. Eh?
You can score on the power play?
Yeah. Well, if you're scoring on every 1 out of every 3 is better than 1 out of every 5.
Yeah, but the fact that we actually scored on a power play.
You just froze. Matt just froze. It's cold over there in Boston.
No, I said that.
Matt, you just froze. So if you can still hear me, you're frozen.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You can hear me, but you froze there. So I didn't hear you. You were saying something and it cut off.
Oh no, I said, but we actually like scored on a power play.
Yeah, we got 1 tonight. Yeah,
can't believe it.
The third one was a power play goal.
No, it was a beautiful goal too. I love that, just that rapid passing.
Yeah,
beautiful
exactly.
goal.
No, exactly. And the hits department, 27 hits for Montreal to their 20, and even in block shots, 17 for Montreal and 10 for them only. So we beat them pretty much all the way around, and it was a good game for Montreal, and especially for Jake Allen. Jake Allen was really good to the point where Jake Allen gets the first star, and I said it that he's going to get the first star, but I mean, how could he not? So he's the first star. Brendan Gallagher with the second star for a goal and an assist. And Jeff Skinner with his 1 goal against Montreal. He always gets at least 1, but he's the only Buffalo player that scored. And what else are we going to look at? Well, the goal scorers were Justin Barron from Jackeye and Monahan to open the scoring. Skinner opens it for Buffalo from Cousins and Dahlin. Gallagher with a absolutely typical Gallagher goal, pushing it between the pads of the goalie, right in the crease. That's you can't get more typical than that goal from Savard and Pearson, and then Pearson from Gallagher and Newhook. And Matt and I were just talking about this before we came on. Tanner Pearson was a good pick. Like I would have thought, and I think I did think right away, yeah, he's not sticking around. They're going to move him. What a good pickup in that trade for Casey DeSmith. And I was saying to Matt that Montreal probably had a number of – they were probably talking to a few teams for DeSmith. But he picked the right team because he got the right guy back. Pearson fits in well here, and he's an experienced player. He's showing it.
Really nice shot. Very, very nice shot.
Is that his third goal? Yeah, that's his third goal. And this is not a goal scorer per se, right? But he's a guy that'll get you 20, maybe a little more.
And I think I said that when we broke the trade down too. I said, he'll get you goals. He'll get some points.
Proving it here. He's got 3 already in his first 5 games here in Montreal.
It's a good, solid player to have in the lineup.
Good experience, solid player, and he is fitting in well with Montreal. So that was a really good pickup. I don't know who was available to Montreal and who they were talking to, but this was a good move. That was a good trade.
Wicked shot, too. I think all 3 of his goals, he's rifled the thing in the net.
I think that's why he can score 20 a year, because the guy's got a really good shot. I think that, he doesn't usually get you more than 40, 45 points, but you can see why he's getting a lot of goals because that shot, his third goal, 3 great shots. I think all 3 of them were wickedly good shots.
Yeah, that second goal, it was the goal he scored. Was it against? It was against Minnesota when he just walked in and ripped it right over Fleury's glove. I mean, he rifled that thing in.
Yeah,
he ripped it.
He's got and it's also proof that his hand injury definitely healed, because you don't shoot like that when your hand is only at 80 or 90%. After breaking it, you don't shoot like that. So. Good. It's just good all around. So that's the breakdown on the game as far as stats goes. Let's start talking to people in the chat. What did you guys think of the game? And what do you guys want to talk about the game? And let's not talk about rent and stuff like that anymore. We did that in the game. That's enough. Let's talk about the game. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Eric, I expect Monty in nets tomorrow. I don't expect Primo. I don't, but it's possible, but not against New Jersey. I mean, if you're going to put Primo in a game, first game of the season, Is it really against New Jersey? I mean, if you're really
You
trying
could
to
put
kill
him
his
in against the
confidence,
Jackets. That wouldn't be a bad first game.
the Jackets maybe I could see that, yeah, but I'm not. It's going to be Monty tomorrow. And if you're wondering who the number one goalie still is has Allen played his way into that? I kind of don't think so because I think then he would have got the New Jersey game. New Jersey game is going to go to your number one guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think they worked it out that way. But I think also after the game against Washington, Allen deserved this start tonight. He had such a good game against Washington. He deserved that start. So maybe I'm wrong on how it works out, but
I'm very, very happy with the way he's rebounded after that Toronto game. And look, he really didn't even play that bad against Toronto. He made some stupid mistakes. But
he's a veteran.
Since then, he's honed it in. I mean, he's
He's
had
a
two
veteran.
very, very good games.
He's a veteran. It was the first game of the season. You just goes push it behind you. Don't even think about it.
That's
a veteran
crumple into the
is
garbage.
what he did, and that's a veteran goalie. And I'm not surprised. And I think when the game happened, I think I did say, we probably both said, it's the first game. Don't read anything into that necessarily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guy could still be a little rusty. And it happens first few games, right? But he's dialed it in amazingly since that game, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Joe thinks Monty tomorrow. Bob's your uncle says, hey, Rick, hey, Matt. Hey, Bob's your uncle. Welcome back in, by the way.
Joe, I agree. They're Monty and Allen are definitely 1A and 1B. 1,000%.
John Gibson says, let's hope Galley stays healthy and can contribute this year. Galley was horrible in the first couple of games, but he's definitely gotten his game on the way back anyway. And let's say that he's scoring Galley goals again.
He's got what, 3 points?
Yeah, and he's the thing is, I think in the last couple of seasons he didn't play a lot, but when he did play, you didn't see those typical Galley goals. The odd one. He's got what, 2 or 3 goals? They're Galley goals, all of them.
Yeah, and I think with the way that, with the way Slav's looking and bringing in Newhook, even a guy like Tanner Pearson, even having Monahan, who has been one of the best players on the team this season so far, too. I mean, Monahan looks fantastic. I think it allows Gallagher to really go back to being Brendan Gallagher, right? He doesn't really necessarily have to kind of do more than he needs to do anymore.
As far as that,
yeah,
he can concentrate on just playing his game and not having to. I mean, he's not in the top 6, so it gives him the pressure's off a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I'm just glad to see how horrible he looked to start the season. It was really depressing to see Galley look like that, and then just really good to see working his ass off and getting better. And and he still looks slow out there, but he's managing to work with it. It's just really good to see. He's using his experience and his drive and determination to find some success. And that's what it is. He's got a huge heart, great determination, and that's what you're seeing.
No, absolutely. Look, I mean, we've said it. I mean, we love the guy. I mean, he'd put his head through a brick wall for the team. We know it was so concerning. Like you said, those first couple games, but
yeah,
I'd love to see him keep it up, have him park it in front of the net and bat the puck in.
That's Galley's game. That's Galley's game. Now Lucas doesn't think it's sustainable. He says, "Great game by Galley, right? Not sustainable, but nice to see some old flashes of him." We don't really know that it's sustainable or not. I tend to agree with you, Lucas. So it's not like I'm saying
because he ends up getting hurt doing that, but
I mean, that's his game. Let's see how long he can go with it. I mean, I think that's the point, is that he's obviously feeling physically well enough to get back to playing the way he plays. Mm-hmm. And that was something we had said, is that Galley he's not successful if he can't play that type of game. So obviously he's able to right now, and he's finding success in that. Let's hope that, just knock wood, that he stays healthy. That's really what it'll be. If he can stay healthy, I'm sure he'll have a decent season anyway.
Yeah. And actually, speaking about again, going back, players really kind of feeling their best. Again, back to Monahan, right? Before the season, he said he felt the best he's felt in 5 or 6 years, and it's showing.
It's showing,
Right?
yeah.
Monahan has been fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Monahan's been really good. Every bit, and he's playing on the third line, and he's second, and I imagine still second on the team in points, but that might have changed. But he got an assist, so I would think that's going to keep him there. Second on the team in points. Caulfield got none, so he's tied with Caulfield for the lead in points, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe someone caught, I don't know exactly the breakdown now. But yeah, I mean, on the third line, that's a good. I mean, that's an accomplishment. I mean, it's only 5 games, but from the third line, he's producing. And the first 2 games stuck with Gallagher, who was horrible.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good performance for Sean Monahan, 100%. And Devo, don't be surprised if Devo's not back in the lineup tomorrow. I don't know for a fact, but I kind of suspect he might be. If that's the case, Monahan probably moves down to that first line wing because that line needs help. Raphael Harvey-Pinard, love the kid. Not the answer there. That line needs help. That's what's going to happen is Monahan's going to shift down there. I can almost guarantee that. I don't bet money too often. I'd put money down on that.
I like that, and I think you put Harvey-Pinard back with Evans and Ullinen.
Yeah, 100%. Or you put him on the third line, but he's got to come off that first line. It's not working.
Yeah,
something is bringing that line down. I'm not blaming Harvey-Pinard, but something is not working there, and I think Monahan is the guy that needs to go there.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
and look, I know we kind of talked about what we think Monahan's future could be, but if he keeps this up, and I can maybe see a path to him maybe re-signing for another couple of years. I think it's almost a 50-50 now, right?
I would like to see him stay for another year, but I mean, signing Monahan to what he's gonna want, at his age, he's gonna want 7 or 8 years, right? 6 is a minimum, right? Come on, why would he sign for less? Signing Monahan for 6 years, unless the dollar amount is really good, so that at the halfway point of that contract, the money is still good. It's still good. You can handle that, and he might be not as good as he is now. You don't do it because of his age.
Well, right, but I think I'm not really concerned that he really wanted a whole lot of money, because I think again with the mentality of this team and you're kind of seeing everybody buying into it. If he thinks if he wants to stay here and kind of be
if he wants to stay here at a good salary, I sign him without a doubt. I sign him because Monahan has proven one thing: he's good for this team. He's good for the young players on this team, and he's playing quality hockey. So he's still young enough that if he'll sign at a really good price,
he's only 28, so you can
he's 29 now, I think, or he's going to be 29 during the season. But he's still young enough that if he signs at the right number, it would make sense to keep him here. He'll still be around when they start to get good and into the playoffs. It could make sense. So, yeah, I don't totally disagree, but that number on the contract's got to be a good one. Will he do that? I don't know.
I think he may. Like I said, if he's really bought into this, to the team and
that's the key there,
and
too,
the guys, right? Then I can see him maybe taking, somewhere around maybe 2.2, just keeping it low and just being that.
No. I don't see that, but I could see him coming in at $4 to $5 million on a longer term deal. You know what? That's no, with the cap going up every year now.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot about
that's
the cap
a number that you can swallow. And he's going to be good for the team.
But
there's no time I would have thought. Yeah, you can't sign Monahan because he's not going to help the team. He's going to help the team. There's no doubt about that. But it's the money that's going to be important.
But again, I don't even like. He might want around 5, but I could see a scenario where he might take somewhere around 3.5 or 4 for maybe 4 years, 5 years.
If you can sign him for 4 years, you sign him.
Like, yeah, if he comes to Kent Hughes at the end of the year and goes, yeah, I'm bought in. I want to help this team further. Like, just give me 3.5 over 4 years, so I can lead this team into where they need to go. I'm like, oh, here you go, sign it.
I don't think that'll happen though. But if that's the case, if you don't sign him, you're an idiot because as long as he stays consistent through the year,
right?
How could you not? It's a no-brainer. He's a very intelligent hockey player. He's good for this team. He's good for the players here, the centers here, and there's nothing bad I've got to say about Monahan. Nope.
No, really good guy too. Really, really good guy.
Yeah, I mean that's another point, right? I mean he's a good guy to have around in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of comments.
I think he's starting to like the Monahan nickname too.
Maybe he does. Yeah. There's a lot of comments that I came in. Hang on. There's where I was. There. Joe says, I think Monty and Allen, not 1 and 2, but 1A, 1B. Right now, definitely. The way Allen's playing, without a doubt. As a matter of fact, Monty could drop to the 1B unless he keeps up his game, right? I mean, Allen's pushing him, which is great. And this is great. I'm not, so I'm hoping we'll see. I don't really think Montreal will win tomorrow, but doesn't mean that Monty can't be fantastic. And that's all I'm looking for.
No, 1,000%.
But I mean, Allen's pushing him. That's for sure.
Habs, and I think Habs Guru is kind of on the same page I am with Monahan. I don't think he'd really want to sign for more than 4, maybe 5 years. I think 4 years would be about right, because you'd get him through like the next year of development, and then you'd have him for 2 years of what I hope will be playoff hockey, and then he can ride off into the sunset.
Now I would have to think Monahan would be looking for at least 6, wherever he's going to go. I mean that might be his last contract.
I mean, it could be, but look, if the money number is right, I'd do it.
Now, personally, I think if he's going to sign for 4, it's going to be higher than that. You're going to have to pay him more to sign for 4 than you would on 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah, I mean that's the case with anybody. Yeah, if they're signing short of
at that age, especially, right?
Money, yeah. But again,
I don't know.
I think there's other factors though that could maybe, again, like if he's really bought into this team and really likes being around the guys, and really likes his role as a leader and as kind of a mentor to the younger kids. I mean, I could see him take less money than you would think to stick around.
I could see that too, but I don't think in term though. Think of the term for him. It's kind of important, right? It could be his last contract. He kind of want to go till 34, 35. You got to think on his next deal. So he doesn't have to really worry necessarily about another contract unless he gets there. But I mean, I would think his agent's not going to, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. But,
so that's why I think it's unlikely to happen, but it might.
But, no, I mean, I'd love to keep him here.
I would too. I mean, I figured they'd trade him and everything, and I think he's going to bring back a good return. But considering where they're going and his age, he could be more valuable here than letting him go and getting even a first-round pick for him. It could be. It depends on the first-round pick, literally, but it could be more valuable to keep Monahan.
I mean, I think and going back to face-offs too, you got guys like Evans and Suzuki learning from him in the dot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to have.
Again, I agree. I think now I think we're seeing the value that he brings to this team, and I think I mean, I've always loved him. I've never really wanted him to go, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, like you, who were always kind of been like, probably move him at the deadline and whatnot, probably starting to change their mind a little bit because I think there's going, well, he's actually doing a lot of good things for the development of the youngsters.
We'll see how it works out. Like, if they don't move him at the trade deadline, you got to figure then they know something and they're going to sign him. Right? If he doesn't move at the trade deadline, you got to think it's not because there was no interest. Right? If Monahan plays like this all year,
Right.
come the trade deadline, and he doesn't move, and Montreal hangs on to him, you got to think they're going to re-sign him because otherwise they lose him for nothing. That makes zero sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that'll be our indication. If he doesn't get moved at the deadline, he's going to be re-signed. You have to think that. I can't see any other reason they wouldn't move him. We're not going to be in the playoffs. We're not going to be in a playoff run that they're going to keep him for and then lose him for nothing because of that.
No, I mean, you got a good point there.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll know at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be answered for sure then. All right, let's move on here. No, I believe Devo can come back. I was reading that Devo might come back early, so I don't think there's any problem. He wasn't on LTIR. If you're saying because they put him on IR at the beginning, it has to be 10 days, I think. So if they put him on IR to start the season, 10 days, not games. I don't think it's 10 games. It's 10 days. And then he can come back. And I believe was the 10th. So he can come back, I believe. And I read that he might come back early. So, and listen, he's practicing in a contact jersey now. So he was definitely out because he wasn't ready. It wasn't any other reason than that. It wasn't even necessarily precautionary because, he could have been in practice and practicing in full contact sweater, but he wasn't. So I'm assuming that he's going to be back maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
I haven't heard otherwise. So maybe as early as tomorrow.
Wouldn't shock me at all.
Usually when a guy's injured and he comes back and then they put him in a full contact jersey, it's usually days until he's back in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a setback. I haven't heard of a setback yet. So let's see. I must be really behind in these comments. Yep. I'm gonna scroll a bit. We get 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Jose. If Monahan stays healthy, wouldn't he want to be a free agent at 29? It may be his best time to cash in. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So you may get him. Like, he may be like, I want to stay there. I'll come in at a little less money. I don't think he's going to give up on the term, though.
No,
it's his last time to get a long-term contract. And if at his age, long-term contract, it sets him up for the rest of his career. And I don't see how he's not going to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think what I was trying to get at was really the money aspect of it. But I do think that's a good point on term. But I think again, it wouldn't shock me if he does want to stay here and if he kind of buys into what we're doing, if he takes a little bit less than what
he'll take less money, but I don't think he'll go for the less term. And you know what, though? Monahan might be worth, like, how Galley, they signed him 6 years, right away. It's like after the first season, this is not going to be a good contract. At the right money for Monahan, you sign him for, say, 7. I don't know it won't be as horrible a contract in the last 3 years as Galley's is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how mostly because the cap's going to go up, so we won't be as tight with that, right? And I guess that means Gallagher's contract every year will be less bad. I guess, but so there's a possibility, but I can't see Monahan not wanting to sign long-term because of his age. He doesn't have the time to say, well, okay, I'll sign for 3 years as kind of prove me thing. Then I'll get a long-term. You won't get a long-term contract at 30.
No, but I could see him maybe at like maybe 6.
If he'd signed for say 7 or 8 years at between 5 and 6 million, that's probably good. I think that contract would be good.
He might like I could see him go like 6 or 7 years for like 4.5.
Yeah, I know that seems low. I don't know if he'd go that low.
I mean, it might be a little low, but again, you know, if he's really likes being in Montreal and he's bought in, I can see him taking a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, but again, a little bit of a discount is probably 5 to 6 million. 4.5, that's a big discount if you ask me. Especially if Monahan puts up decent, like if he say by trade deadline time, he's sitting at 50 points. Or right in that area. I mean, you know, he's gonna make money on his next deal.
It's true.
So how much is he gonna give a discount? $1 million?
Probably $1.5 million.
Maybe that's probably about it. I don't think that brings him down to 4.5 personally.
Well, he takes $1.5 million, it'll bring him down to 4.5. But no, like I said, you know.
Look at some of those deals out there. If Monahan's really playing that well, he's going to get some team to give him 7 or 8 million. There's enough stupid teams that are doing it already. Look at some of the contracts. You can look at Tom Wilson's contract. Wasn't that was a ridiculous, wasn't it? Tom Wilson, and there was a couple other contracts that were kind of ridiculous like that. Some team
Jeff Skinner at friggin' 8 years at $9 million.
Right. Someone's going to sign him to a good term and good money. So, you know, $1 million or $1.5 million off, it still means 6 million, 5.5 million, if you ask me. But at 5.5, 6 million, I think Sean Monahan might be a good deal because the cap is going up now. That's the only reason, though. If the cap stayed flat, no.
No, I agree with that. Well, plus with the LTIR space, and it'd still leave us with a good chunk of change too to do whatever else we got to do.
What was that last thing you said? I heard it.
Well, no, like with the cap going up, but also with the LTIR space we have with Price.
Yeah,
I think
for another 3 years with Price. Yeah,
I think we like going into the offseason, we're gonna have somewhere in the realm of like $25 million to play with. Or 15 to 20, something like that. 15, 20, or 25. One of those three numbers to play with.
I don't know the number.
But yeah,
JFS says Monahan has.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say if you get, if they sign Monahan to like 6 or 7 years at 5, you still got a solid chunk of change to work with.
Yeah, and the cap will be going up every year, so that number will actually, in the end, look smaller. That's what I'm saying. JFS says Monahan has to stay healthy. That's a big if. We're 5 games in. I definitely get that. But what I'm saying is if we get to the trade deadline and he's had a great season and he's healthy and they don't trade him, they're signing him.
Nope, 1,000%.
And if he gets to the trade deadline and he has had no issues health-wise, that's a good indication is everything's going to be fine with him. He's only 28. It's not like he's old or 29. He's still not old. Not yet.
Right. And again, like I said, if in Hughes and Gorton's mind, right? If this team's only, with continuing development, maybe a year or two away from the playoffs, even like at the time where we're making the playoffs again, like a 30-year-old Monahan is still going to be a productive quality Sean Monahan
for sure
if he's not injured, right? So yeah, I can see that. I can see a scenario where they sign him long term.
If they signed him long term, say 7 years or even 8 years, you got to figure the first 4 years of that contract, he's going to still be good. It's the back end of the contract. We don't know. But if the number is good, it's not so bad.
And you got to think too, right? When the back end of that contract comes up, we're going to have guys like Beck up here. We're going to have guys that can, be like the regular centers on the team, and he can be like a depth guy. You know,
And the cap will probably be up a good 15 to 20 million from what it is now then. So it's a big difference. So yeah, I mean, I could see that they might sign him. But like I said, we'll see what happens at trade deadline. Bob's Your Uncle says, don't forget the long-term contracts for Alzner and Byron. Yeah, well, I don't see
Byron's kind of worked out.
And Byron did work out in the end, and it's not so bad. Alzner, that was a big mistake. There's no doubt about that.
Oh my God.
But if you're saying Sean Monahan equals Carl Alzner, yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
God.
That's two different qualities and players.
So talk about just a friggin'.
That's why I say, listen, Monahan at the right price is different. Now, for Alzner, if they had signed Alzner to $2.5 million, not 4.3 something, I think it was. Huge difference. Huge difference. Alzner at 2.5. Doesn't look nearly as bad. So the numbers are going to be really important if they decide to do something like this.
Well, that and Sean Monahan's actually been kind of productive. I think Carl Alzner played a few games,
Christian Dvorak's going to get moved, so that money's there. That kind of it kind of offsets.
We know Kent Hughes is trying to move Armia at the moment somehow, some way.
Yeah, hopefully they can. They're trying.
They moved him and get an asset in return. I'm going to drop dead.
Again, the scouts were not here to see Armia because Armia was not in the lineup. So I kind of thought he would. I have a feeling, though, if you're going to see Armia, tomorrow makes sense that Armia will be in the lineup because they'll give somebody a rest. I mean, it's going to be a tired team compared to the Devils. So you got to figure the guys that
maybe them giving a guy like just because of his age a little bit, they could maybe give like a guy like maybe Tanner Pearson a rest, even though he's been a very good player. Like because of his age,
I could see them. They'll give somebody a rest and they'll put Armia in there. We'll see, but it's obvious that the scouts are not here to see Armia, right? Unless the Habs just decided, now we're not playing Armia tonight, because the last game against Chicago there were 9 scouts. Tonight there were 20 scouts in Buffalo. So like they doubled down and they figure, okay, Armia is going to be in tonight, and he wasn't. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. Bob's Your Uncle. I kind of agree with what you're saying there about long-term contracts. They're not always the best, right? Especially when most free agents, UFAs, are already 27 years old, right? So you're giving an older player a long-term deal. The last few years of the deal is probably not going to be good, right? So we get that. But, I mean, that's what they're doing, right? So that Monahan's not going to say, well, long-term deals aren't very good. I'm not going to ask for one. He's going to ask for one.
Right.
His agent is going to ask for one.
There's also a big difference between Carl Alzner and Sean Monahan.
Well, there is. I mean, you're going to get much more production, even in the back end where the contract's not as good. He's still going to do something. I don't think Monahan is going to completely fall off the end of the earth, even though he gets a little older. So we'll see.
I remember when we signed Alster too, and I was kind of excited. I was like, "Oh, all right, we get a defenseman here." And then we spent $4.5 million on a pile of dog crap.
Hey, you know what I just noticed? And I don't know why this is happening. Why is our names not there?
I don't know.
It says show name display. That's weird.
Is it because of the banner, maybe? The Go Habs Go banner?
No, because our names wouldn't be there.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
That is very odd. Oh, well, I'll have to figure that one out. Oh, it is because of that. That shouldn't have anything to do with our name. Sorry, everybody. I know I'm boring you now. I have to figure this one out. Not today. Not right now. All right. would help if I get back to the comments and I can see them. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna take off in a few minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna take off now because I gotta get up early and go into Boston tomorrow.
Yeah, no. So we're taking off. Just want to remind y'all before we do go. The Pucking Around podcast. New episode was just recorded tonight while I was doing the game. The boys recorded, so that'll be out tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully, you guys will look for that. It is going to be again an audio version next week. Next week is Vegas, so it's a late start. Even though there's a Monday game, we can still do the podcast, no problem with that. So
yeah, we'll do. You want to do video?
Yeah, so we're planning to do the video podcast next week. Hopefully, you guys will see that. It'll be pre-recorded, so it'll come out also on Tuesday. That's the date for the release of the podcast. I also announced this at the beginning of the game. Matt's here now, so I'm going to confirm it with him. Well, he'll be here while I announce it again. Matt and I are going to be doing, because the Pucking Around podcast is not Habs only. We talk about the NHL and the Bruins and Flyers. But Matt and I are going to be starting a Habs only podcast. Tentative name to start with is Talking Habs, the podcast. So that's going to be coming around pretty soon. We're going to have a second channel going, the Pucking Around channel. Name tentative, not 100% yet. That's going to be coming up soon. So that will be where the podcasts are. There'll be different kind of videos there. I'm still going to be doing videos and live streams and everything here, but there's going to be just different kind of stuff for you guys. So look for that. I'll announce it, of course, and hopefully you guys will go over there and subscribe over there too and help us get to monetization over there. What else do we have to announce? What did I have in the first one? There was something else. And I tossed it? Did I really? I tossed it. I didn't? Oh, it's right here in front of me. I'm holding it. No, I got it all. Look at that. That was it. So those are the announcements. Tomorrow there's a game and a post-game show as well. I'm not sure if I'm doing the preview the same way because I have to go out in the afternoon. I don't know that I'll have time. So we'll probably be back to a little bit earlier start and I'll do the preview there. So hopefully you guys will be back for that. And then that is it. That is it. I want to thank everybody for being here through the game, through this post-game show. Thank you, and hopefully you enjoyed that. Don't forget to check out the Pucking Around podcast. If you want to check out the first 2 episodes, there is a link in the description for the episode. I think it's the second one, but it'll get you to the first one as well. Please do that. If you'd like, leave a voice comment because you can do that. And there's a little poll there and whatever. You can take part in that. That would be appreciated as well. And let us know what you think of that. So that, once again, is in the description of this video. There's a link. And that's it. I'm going to stop babbling here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. Keep your stick on the ice. Go, Habs, go. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Go, Habs, go, baby.